So why would you choose the Athena 1090 Evo? A number of reasons. Number one, the Athena 1090 Evo operate on slopes up to 20 degrees on both the X and the Y axis. The fact that it's dynamic and proactive leveling means this, as opposed to the other Athena product line, will actually self-level itself whilst it's in the air and you're driving on an incline. The other thing about the Athena 1090 is it has a much larger deck size. It's a 300 kilo capacity with a much larger deck. The machine itself weighs 3 tons, and as you can see, it's very much the commercial bi-leveling scissor lift that's needed on a lot of work sites today. Righto, so getting started on the Athena 1090, the first thing is that it has 2 power supplies. The first at the rear is you can plug it into 240 volts with a power lead. The second is you have a powerful Kubota diesel engine at the front. Okay, so let's get the 1090 started. The first thing you need to be aware of is the isolating key is at the bottom of the machine. That needs to be on. We also have a side control panel, so the e-stop has to be out and the engine selector has to be to the right, which gives you power to the remote control. On the remote control, I'm going to make sure the e-stop is out, and I'm going to wait for a short series of beeps. The machine will not start until that beep series is complete. Then I'm going to use the engine toggle to start the engine. Now, the one thing that the 1090 Evo has is a nice diesel Kubota engine. One thing about Kubota engines is sometimes they need to be preheated. So when you're starting the machine for the first time in the morning, you may well have to hold the preheat start function over to the left-hand side to preheat the glow plugs and get the engine working appropriately. Okay, so you've got the machine started. Now you need to work out how to get the machine off the truck, the trailer, or onto the worksite. So the machine has 3 drive modes, and they're selected on this toggle switch here on the right. In the middle is the drive mode where you have full functionality of all functions. If you want the machine to operate faster in a straight line, you turn the toggle up to the raise position. If you're on sensitive ground and you don't want to, for example, make too much of a mess of lawn areas, you push it to the bottom, and that will give you a gradual turn rather than give you the skid's turn ability. To drive the machine, it's just a simple matter of using the 2 toggles, as you'll see here. Okay, so the Athena 1090 has a unique dynamic proactive leveling system so that when you are driving up a slope, the machine will automatically level itself. So that's what Trent's about to show now. So as you'll see, the machine is actually keeping the deck level and is doing all that automatically. Okay, so the Athena 1090, as you can see in its wide set, is 1640 millimeters wide. You can actually bring the tracks in to get it down to 1460, which enables you to get into slightly more confined spaces. That's a very simple procedure of using the track toggles on either side. Now, what you're also seeing here is the limit of its ability to operate on slopes up to 20 degrees on the left and the right axis. Now, what Trent's doing at the moment is perfectly safe. And the advantage of bringing the machine into narrow mode, as you can see, is you end up with a lot of ground clearance underneath the machine, particularly for those undulating, rocky sites which may have bricks strewn all over them, and you need to get over obstacles. Okay, so now we're about to go through the auto leveling function, and this is where the magic happens with the Athena 1090. The Athena 1090, as I already mentioned, is proactive and dynamic leveling. So when you see the machine drive up on the ramps, a lot of the leveling is done automatically for you. When you're raising the machine in the air, you'll hit the raise function. So any final leveling that needs to be done will be done in conjunction with the raise function. When the machine is completely level and completely safe, then the machine will raise in the air. But it's all a function of using the raise button. There is no separate auto level button like there is on a lot of machines, which is a very important thing to note. So I think you'll all agree that this machine is in a completely unique situation and you never would have seen this before. The machine is on a forward angle and a side tilt angle of up to 20 degrees. This is another example of how the auto leveling works. To get it from this position, all I'm doing now is pushing the raise function. And as you can see behind me, the magic is happening. The machine is self-leveling itself on both axes to a point where when it is completely safe, the machine will raise in the air. Okay, so let me take you through the remote control on the 1090. Very, very simple. So on the left-hand side, this is your engine selector. So if you want diesel engine, you have it in the middle. If you want it on 240 volts, you raise the toggle to the top. This is your engine off switch, as you can see, on and off, and you've also got your glow, should you need to preheat the machine. You've got your speed selector. As you can see, it may, or you maybe not, it says dynamic leveling on or off. So the dynamic leveling only operates when the machine is in hare mode. We've gone through your drive selector functions, which is this one right here. These are obviously your drive toggles, which we were using earlier. These functions here you would have already seen, already. So these are what you can manually do to make the machine tilt to the side to the left, tilt to the side to the right. This is the function which allows the machine to manually tilt forwards or backwards, and this is your final auto leveling or raise function. You'll also notice on the machine that there's a number of lights. The first one is if you're on an angle that is approaching maximum gradient, the light will start to flash. This is your travel light. So if this machine has the light on, the machine will drive whilst at height. And this is obviously your OK work light. This bottom light here is if you've got too much weight in the basket, and the maximum weight warning will sound and not allow you to take that weight up in the basket. Nice, simple, easy to understand remote control. Okay, so the Athena 1090 is a larger machine, so as you can see the steps are slightly raised. May seem something relatively simple, but it is a 3-point of entry contact. 1, 2, 3, and up you go. Now, depending on the terrain or the slope you're on, that may not be as easy to get in and out of. There is an auto function of the machine, which we're just about to show you. Which brings the steps down to a more appropriate level. Once again, 3-point of contact, and up you get. So the dynamic leveling of this machine is one of the unique features of the 1090. Unlike any other machine in the world, it will operate and drive on slopes up to 20 degrees. Now, as a safety feature, when the terrain changes by more than 1 degree, the machine will actually stop driving. Then the dynamic leveling comes in where you release the toggles. The machine will then self-level while you're in the air and continue to drive. Great for tunnel work, great for a lot of work where it's very sloping. But the terrain can change. We're about to go through a demonstration of that now. Okay, so the dynamic leveling is about to operate. We're actually on a slope of up to 20 degrees. So the machine is, as you can tell, driving in the air. When the angle changes, the machine will stop. As you can see there, I release the toggle switches, pull back down on the toggle switches. You can actually feel the auto leveling function is just engaged, and the machine continues to drive. The same will happen again. Release the toggle switches, auto leveling function will engage, and we're off driving again. Nice and simple. I said a couple of things that are important to remember about the Athena 1090, particularly when you're taking up gutters and curbs. The first thing is when you are going up a gutter or a curb, we would always recommend that the tracks are fully extended in the wide position. The second thing that we always recommend is that you go straight up and down the gutter rather than one track up first and the other track up second. Adds to the safety protocols of the machine. The second thing you'll notice is that if you want to operate with one track up on a gutter or a verge or something like that, is that we would always suggest, if you can, to go in parallel to the verge or get one track up on the verge and slew on it. And those were the topics of the last two visions that you've just seen. So thanks very much for watching this short introductory video on the features, the benefits, and how to operate the Athena 1090. As you can see, it has many different uses and many different advantages on work sites around the country, providing peace of mind while working at height, increasing productivity and increasing cash flow for our customers. Thanks again.